to do your due diligence when starting to look for a business. Now, whether that's this business here, whether it's other businesses out there, but I think you're going to find out some great information about why you shouldn't go along.
Well, Eric, this is a great topic because for people who are on here thinking about getting started in their own business, whether it's our business or any business, we're going to give you some tips and some do's and don'ts as to what you should do when you're doing what's called your due diligence. Now, all that means is that you're doing your research, trying to find out exactly what it is about a particular business that may appeal to you, or that, maybe it has some flaws that you need to know about. So we're going to guide you through that process and relate everything that we say about our business, of course, to any business that's out there, because that's all we know to do is to talk about our business.
Exactly. Well, as we begin here, there are certainly going to be questions that the folks that are going to be on the call this afternoon, they're going to want to ask. There are some questions. There's that question box that's in your control panel, folks. So as we're going through the webinar today,
don't we have a slide for that?
I believe so. I think I've clicked on that, but I'm not sure if it's populating on your side. There we go. If you've got any questions, you can see right there in that go-to webinar control panel, right there. We want to encourage you to type in your questions at any time during the webinar. Type in any questions that you would like to do, and we'll certainly help answer these questions for you. So that's what we're here to do today for you, to answer your questions. Patrick and I we can talk back and forth. Lord knows that we can talk all day long, but again, you help us to help get us engaged with you as well. Patrick, there's a lot of great things that I know that are coming up here, and I think before we actually get started with this particular portion of it, let's talk about some of the current events. Now, first of all, we're looking at a screenshot, and we see up there in the left-hand corner, there's some letters called CMS. That stands for Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services. So, folks, we're talking about the hub. That's where all medical billing kind of comes into play here. Patrick, kind of talk to us a little bit about this ICD-10 thing that's coming up. We've got this countdown thing that's coming up here October 1st. What's all this about?
Well, first of all, let's make clear that CMS is not an independent organization of some kind. It is the government itself. The United States government set up the CMS for organizing the whole Medicare payments to doctors. So it's very important that doctors be tuned in to what CMS says, because they are the ones that set all the standards for the billing for Medicare. And of course, everything that Medicare does is also taken by all the insurance companies and applied to their billing as well. So this ICD-10, most people, Eric, have talked about maybe thinking that they need to get some coding training. This is the codes. The ICD-10 codes are about to be released. They're using the ICD-9 codes right now, of course. And the ICD-10 stands for the International Classification of Diseases. This is the World Health Organization who comes up with these codes, and the whole world right now is on ICD-10. America is the only one that's not. So it's coming out, though. October 1st, as you can see, is the deadline for doctors to have to switch over from the ICD-9 to the ICD-10. And the important thing is that there's a whole bunch more.
Yeah, and folks, if you're looking for some more information, you can literally Google this. You can type in CMS Road to 10, and you can see here the small practice physician practice route to ICD-10. You can see this is less than 75 days away. Certainly, this is a very important date that's coming up, and so that you can certainly use this to help get your clients. Now, Jay, good to have you and see you here this afternoon. And his question is about this: is ICD-10 going to spur the sales of the EMRX, the electronic medical records platform, and is there a push to plan this through your licensees?
Yes, Jay, that's a great question. For those of you who are not aware, EMRX is our electronic medical record system. That's just our brand for it. All doctors are moving towards an electronic medical record system of some sort. And the important thing is that they need to know that to to bill for ICD-10, they need to know what the codes are. So what they're using right now in the ICD-9 may not apply to ICD-10. There's approximately 12 times as many codes for ICD-10. So the only way the doctors would know is if they had some special training, or they bought a big thick book of all the codes, or they're using an electronic medical record system like ours that has all those ICD-10 codes already in the system. And that's our system. So yes, Jay, this will spur doctors to move towards an electronic medical record system. Because as you can see from this quote that Eric has just put up here, it says, recognizing that healthcare providers need help with this transition, CMS and AMA, that's the American Medical Association, are working to make sure physicians and other providers are ready ahead of the transition to ICD-10 that will happen on October 1st. So it's kind of a window of opportunity between now and October 1st for our licensees, because they can go out and say to the doctors, look, doesn't matter if you're ready for ICD-10 or not, or have had some training or preparation for it, our system has it all built in there.
That is correct. And the reason we want to put this up here on the screen, even before we show you how to do your due diligence, we want to show you that we're doing our due diligence, because it truly is, as Jay's stating here, we're doing everything that we can to help our licensees get ready for things that are on the horizon, let alone for you, what you need to do of getting ready to become a licensee as well. I think we've got one other little screenshot here on some other information about just some advantages of why doctors should still be outsourcing. Now, Patrick, you actually found this and shared this with me. I just took just a quick snapshot of this from about.com. It's about money on there. And it goes through 7 advantages of outsourcing your medical billing for doctors.
Yeah, folks, this is one of those things that you can do to do your due diligence. Go out to Google or your favorite search engine and just type in things like outsourcing your medical billing. And you will come up with lots of articles out there like this that are third-party people telling you these things, not American business systems, that there are advantages. Doctors just need to know what those advantages are, and this article has a lot of different topics on there. Eric, why don't I try to locate that link to that?
Okay, good.
You can do that since I'm hosting the slides here, and maybe you could put it in the chat window.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll find that for us there, and since you're doing that, I'll certainly look for that.
Yeah. So, folks, there are lots of reasons why doctors should outsource their billing. Now, do all of them? No. That's the good news for you, is that some have not decided to do that. But you know, Eric, I think you found this out as we've taught our training classes, and we hear this from licensees all the time, that their best prospects are doctors who have decided to outsource. Now, how's that possible? If they're already outsourcing to another billing company, why are they our best prospects? Because they're already educated. They already understand all of these benefits of outsourcing, and so they don't have to be educated. Now, if you're not, American Business Systems has figured out, though, how to educate the doctors who have not outsourced, and of course, their prospects for you too. So it's just a huge field out there.
Exactly. Folks, if you'll look in your chat area, I've just chatted out to everybody. There's the link to this particular website there that you can go check that out and read those 7 advantages of outsourcing your medical billing. So, yeah, feel free to go do that. All right, Patrick, let's kick into here, because this guy looks a little lonely on the screen here. Walking on this road, trying to figure out what he's going to go do. You know, what I like about what we do here at ABS is more than just what we do on the back end of helping our licensees. It's a lot of what we do on the front end, just like what we're doing on these webinars today. And so, folks, pay attention here. Again, ask some questions, but one of the first things you should be doing is checking out the company. Do a little research, and we've already kind of helped you with a couple of questions here, but Patrick, let's talk about how important is this live training? I mean, we just got through with one last week, but there are some other business opportunities and even franchises that do a lot of training online.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with online training. But you know what? There's nothing like live workshops. And let me tell you why. Because in a live workshop, you're engaged right there tuned in to what the instructor is saying, can write questions down and ask those questions at the end of each session. We don't let any question go unanswered. And that's very important because you'll hear questions asked by other people that you probably would never have thought of. I mean, I see licensees all the time and hear on our evaluations the fact that they're glad they came to the live training because they heard answers to questions that they did not think, to ask. So
Right.
Very important. Plus, there's interaction with other people who are starting their own business. You get to meet with those people and have beer and wine and dinner with them in the evenings. You have lunch with them every day.
Right.
Yeah, you're engaged with the support group that can be a support group for you as you leave our training. And then,
Correct.
of course, there's all of the hands-on exercises that you're going to get, including use of the laptops. We bring in the laptops to let you actually use those during the class to do medical billing. The best way to learn is to do. And we're going to have you doing medical billing by the end of the first day, aren't we, Eric?
Exactly. And that's just, to me, it is your key to success. Folks, that's what we did last week. We did an entire webinar on just the training. But, you want to check out, again, whether that company has a guarantee. You need to see their longevity. Are they stable financially? The support that goes along with that, the technology. And again, every day we're building more stuff on our support back end stuff because, again, we want you to be successful. When you're successful, we become successful for the longevity for all of us. And that provides those two words down at the bottom, longevity and stability for not only you as a licensee and a medical billing company, but again, for us at American Business Systems.
Yeah, I don't know if we've said that on this webinar or not, Eric, but folks, we've been around doing this for 21 years. Yeah, you heard me right. There's not many businesses in America that have been around 21 years. We've been doing this for 21 years. And all we do is support and train people on how to build their own medical billing business. So we make money, of course, on the sale of what we call our license. That's the training and the support and all the marketing materials and ideas and so forth, and the ongoing webinars that we do each week for our licensees. That's all included in that license fee. But that's not all that we make money on, folks. All of the services that you offer to the doctors, because we have technology partners that have worked with us to develop those services, we make money from those services as well. I tell people it's just a few pennies on each transaction. We're a transaction-based company, basically, but those pennies mount up pretty fast. And so we make money when you make money, and hey, that's the American way, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's talk real quickly about this Better Business Bureau thing. Patrick, how in the world did you get an A+ rating for being with the Better Business Bureau?
Well, we just didn't do the wrong thing. You do the right thing in business, Eric, and you can maintain an A+ rating. It's when you don't treat your customers right in today's world that customers start complaining to the Better Business Bureau, and then, of course, that makes your rating go down. They go all the way down to F. The A+ is the best you can get, and we've maintained that now for years because we do the right thing. And we always, anytime there is a situation that comes up that somebody has a complaint about something, which, again, you can't please everybody all the time, then we handle that. We work with that person to make sure that they're happy with the resolution of that. And by the way, Eric, when people go to the Better Business Bureau, this is the Fort Worth Better Business Bureau. Just type that in, Fort Worth Better Business Bureau, and you'll see there that you can put in our name, American Business Systems, like you see at the top of the screen here, and you'll get to the screen that shows you right here our listing, and you'll see the A+ there. Now, one of the things you need to notice, though, is that it says this business is not accredited. You'll see it right here. I'm kind of moving my mouse there where that says that. This business is not BBB accredited. So, Eric, what does that mean?
Well, that's a question that we do get quite often. What does it mean that you're not accredited? You got this A+ rating, but what do you mean that you're not accredited? Well, we've actually put the BBB's definition on the screen so that you see that. And if you read this word for word, you'll just see that businesses are under no obligation to seek accreditation, and some businesses are not accredited because they have not sought BBB accreditation. However, to be accredited, a business must apply for accreditation, and the BBB must determine that the business meets the BBB accreditation standards, which includes a commitment to make a good faith effort to resolve any consumer complaints, BBB accreditation businesses must pay a fee for accreditation, review, and monitoring or for support for BBB services to the public. Patrick, I know that we've chosen not to pay that fee because
haven't needed to.
Yeah, you haven't needed to. And then the other slice of, or the other side of that sword, basically, because it's cutting both ways, that if we would, people would say, well, the only reason you have an A+ rating is because you do pay for the fee. You know, so we choose here at ABS not to pay the fee, not to become accredited, and just let us go on our word. And they're the ones that are, I mean, the only reason we have an A+ rating is because we do what Patrick was saying.
Yeah, and folks, we have resolved all consumer complaints. That's why they must continue to give us an A+ rating. Now, if we stop doing that, let's say a complaint came up, and by the way, we only had a couple, I think, in the last 3 years. But if one did come up to the Better Business Bureau and we didn't resolve that with the person, then of course they could lower our rating. So anyway.
It's strictly up to them. But again, as you continue to keep checking out the company, you can request this letter. We've got this letter from our attorney who takes care of our business here at American Business Systems. And you can certainly see that it's showing us that this is one of those things that you can do with the company that you're doing some investigating with. But you can see that, again, Patrick and Linda have been doing this for since 1994. Back in 1984 is when they actually started doing some work here. But, you know, it's debt-free. That's another thing that you want to really start to look at here. So we are a registered company here at the state of Texas as a limited liability corporation here, and we keep up all the requirements. So, folks, if you still want to know a little bit more about us, you can also request this letter from our attorney here for American Business Systems.
I think the key here, Eric, and the lesson that people should take away is that they want to know, even if a company is a privately held company, which most business opportunity companies are, that they are financially sound. In other words, if a company is debt-free, that means that they're doing fine financially. Just so you know, we've never borrowed money. We've never owed money to anyone. We have cash flow as a company, and that's a good thing. That means we're going to be around a long, long time, hopefully at least another 21 years.
All right, let's move to step 2, Patrick. I know we're already almost at the bottom of the hour here already. Now let's start talking about funding. This is probably, first of all, the big hurdle is let's just identify this company. Now that you've got at least some understanding about that company, now you want to move forward. I know this is always a question that we get here, is the funding part. How do we fund this business? There's several different ways as we're going to kind of talk about here.
Yeah, let me talk first about the difference between an unsecured loan and a secured. A secured loan is pretty obvious. If you buy a car, the bank has the right to come repossess the car if you don't pay for it, right? That's a secured loan. An unsecured loan is what we're talking about here. Unfortunately, there's nothing that the bank can come and get and touch and feel. A business opportunity has to do with training, for example, the live training workshop. They can't take that back from you once you've gone through the training. It does include some marketing materials and so forth, but there's nothing that they can resell of value, even though it's very valuable. Because, folks, if you try to recreate what we have on your own, it would cost you way more than the $25,000 licensing fee that we charge. So, Eric, that boils down now to what do they do to go get the loan?
Yeah, it's interesting because you know as well as I do, my son, you know him as Jeremy, has been in the banking world for the last few years, and he's told both of us that if we send anybody to his bank, if they come in and they say, hey, I want a small business loan, which we see to the right-hand side there, he's going to have them start filling out a whole list of paperwork there. And one of those things that he's going to be asking those folks is, how long have you been in business? And if you haven't been in business in this particular field for more than 2 years, you're not going to get that small business loan.
No. But what if I went in and asked for a personal loan? In other words, based on my credit, I want to borrow $25,000. If they ask what that's for, I would just say that that's for, self-improvement, improvement of, my life.
Yep.
Because I could be adding on an addition to my kitchen. I could add a new patio, a new pool. There's lots of reasons why I might borrow money from a bank. So
That's correct.
it's a personal loan. It's called a signature loan.
Yeah, and that's one piece of paper there. That's it's almost like a personal line of credit. So it's almost like works like a credit card, but it's more towards the bank as a personal unsecured loan. So folks, if you're looking at trying to go to the bank, be sure to go in and talk about a personal loan. Now, Patrick, we've had a lot of people ask us about the SBA. Well, I'm just going to run down to the SBA, and surely they're going to give me a loan.
Yeah, they'll be surprised, won't they? Because the SBA is a government agency, by the way, that works with banks to fund entrepreneurs wanting to start a business. Their loans start at about $50,000 and up, for one thing. And it's really a huge, you talk about paperwork. We're talking about the government here. And so it's a huge stack of paperwork. Eric, we've had people actually try this in spite of what we've told them, and the results are always that they don't obtain a loan. If you were borrowing money to open up a Subway sandwich shop, $75,000 franchise fee, another $150,000 for the building and equipment, yes, you can work with them because there's something solid that they can put their hands on at the bank that's actually doing the loaning. And so it might work for that, but not for a business opportunity / franchise.
Yeah, it is. So don't go down that because, again, so two places that we told you don't go. Don't go try to get a small business loan at the bank. Don't go to the SBA. You're just going to be wasting your time. So let's talk about some things that you can do. Patrick, you've brought this up so many times. 60% of startups normally come up just from the business owners themselves. They've somehow saved up $25,000, or they were able to pull money together. Some of it is just coming just directly from them themselves.
Yeah, and in many cases, even Entrepreneur Magazine, by the way, which publishes a book called Start Your Own Business. Those of you who are live can see that here on the video. This book will tell you that a lot of people have started their business by using their own personal credit cards. If you think about it, you've got 4 or 5 credit cards, each with a few $1,000s limit on there, you can fund yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Now, it's a little bit more expensive because if you don't pay that off in a short amount of time, of course, your interest can be higher than it would be for a personal loan at the bank. But it's still a valid way that a lot of businesses are started in America.
Yeah, so it could be from that. We're going to talk to you about home equity loans. I mean, that could be certainly a way that you could do it there as well. Private investors is another way we're going to just briefly talk to you about. And then we have another company here called Guided Financials that can also. So as Patrick said, you can go to creditcard.com, as we were just showing you on that screen there just before. Go there. I mean, a lot of you might be surprised that you can literally find some credit cards, if you want to go to that next screen there, Patrick, that have to do with getting 0 or very low interest rate credit cards. There are literally hundreds of brand new startup businesses that have started their business directly from using one of their credit cards. Some of you may already have your cash already and want to put this $25,000 on a credit card and then pay off the credit card with your cash there, and that way at least you can get your travel reward points or any other type of points that you want to build up for your credit card there as well.
And we mentioned the home equity loan. Let me just touch on that just for a second, Eric, because a lot of people don't realize if they've owned their home for some period of time, usually more than 5 years, they're going to have some equity in the home, and that the bank will loan you money against that equity. So let's say you've got $40,000 equity in your home after being there for 10 years. You could borrow the $25,000 against that, and all they do is just tack it on to the back end of the loan.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then you've got private investors. Sometimes you just might want to partner with someone that just wants to give you what would we'd say private seed money.
Right.
So it could just be somebody like Patrick Phillips, but not Patrick Phillips.
Right. Maybe you
But
have
it
a
could be,
friend, maybe you have a relative, maybe you have somebody who would like to get in business themselves but don't have the money themselves. Why not partner and split the investment with them? You can both build your business, and both of you come to training.
exactly. Yep. So you can do it that way as well. And then finally, we have a company that we've worked with who a lot of you may have your money in your 401k and you want to know how to get that out of there and then actually use it for your business. Guidance will help you walk you through that. They do have, in some cases, some ways to do some private funding, which would be an unsecured loan. Certainly, but you want to make sure that your credit scores are up above a certain level. But to get started, we're putting this information up here on the screen right now of what you need to do. You just go to Guidant Financials and then go to there for us where we are for right there at the bottom. You can see there, guidantfinancials.com, pre-qualification / American-business systems. So you can go right over to there, and then you know what? If you'll keep that up there, Patrick, just real quickly, I'll type that into the place right over here.
Yeah, and this is a company that's not associated with us, of course. They do this for a lot of different franchises and business opportunities. So we're not connected with them in any way, but they have helped a lot of our licensees to get the funding that they might not have otherwise gotten. So you might check them out. I think Eric's got that in the chat box there. He's going to send that to you in just a second. There it is.
There you go. There you go. So you've got that right there. Yeah, so just check them out. There's a 5-minute thing that you can go through there, and they'll just kind of step you through that. Now, another thing that people love to talk about, Patrick, is about this pre-marketing. The reason we put this in here is, why do people want to pre-market? Well, they want to go test the waters. They want to go see if this business is actually going to work. Before I put my $25,000 down, Patrick, you know, should I go try to pre-market this thing and see if I can make a go of it?
Well, you certainly could. It'd be like trying to sell Subway sandwiches without having a Subway franchise, because if you don't know anything about this industry, it's hard to even go and speak with, say, your own doctor, for example, or your CPA. They may or may not know about the industry. Probably doing the due diligence that we're showing you that you can do through us is the best way to learn what the market is out there, and we'll show you some other ways to find that out. But when people do that, Eric, I can tell you from experience, last week in our live training workshop here in Dallas, there was a licensee in that said, Patrick, I wished I hadn't done that pre-marketing by going and talking to a few doctors because I burned my leads, some of my best leads. And I said, well, what do you mean by that, Chris? He says, well, I went and talked to a doctor and he started asking questions and I had no idea what the answers were. Well, now that I'm here in the training, he said, I know that I could have answered those questions much better than I did, you know, without the right answers.
Yeah, we understand that we want you to feel secure and comfortable before you go out and start talking to those doctors, because again, you could do some. Now, here are some things that you can do. We don't want you to go pre-market to doctors, but what you can do is start doing some market analysis. Now, Patrick, talk about what they can do.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, you might go to your CPA, your attorney, even your banker, real estate agents. They're all tuned in to doctors and the needs for doctors. Some CPAs and attorneys, of course, have doctors for clients. So they'll know that a lot of doctors are struggling right now from a cash flow standpoint, which means that's good for you, right? Because you're the one that can come in with the solutions for that.
Yeah, so you could go to any of these groups here, go in there, start talking to them. You know, you don't have to say that you're actually doing it, but you're doing some market analysis on doctors and maybe their struggle of collecting their money for their claims. I mean, if that's the only thing you're asking, just so find out if that's what's really happening out there. So there's some things that you actually can do. Patrick, there's some other things that they can do of going to our website actually, and
hey, before you go on, Eric, can I talk about medical sales reps?
Yes, please do that.
Yeah, we have a whole training section in our live workshop on how to find and hire and train medical, not just medical sales, but any kind of sales reps out there. Anybody who loves to sell can certainly help you get clients and connect you with people in your community. So, if you touch base with some of the medical sales reps in your area, pharmaceutical reps, for example, a lot of those would be open to working with you once you do establish your business and could give you a feel for what real problems the doctors are having out there. Same way with business networking groups. You could go to your Chamber of Commerce and just start talking to other business owners in your community. Everybody knows doctors, right? So you could connect with people at those groups and ask them what they have found as they talk to their own doctor about their own situation.
Yeah, those are some key components of what Patrick was saying. It's great that you could, if you got some opportunity to talk with some medical sales reps already, and just simply ask them, do they know the struggles that doctors are going with? And you're just doing some market analysis. That could be one of the people that you might end up hiring to be your sales rep later on. But again, for you, you can see on our website, there's a place there under income potential, and you'll see where it says medical billing income calculator. We've shown that before, income replacement. But where Patrick is showing you find doctors in my area, you just enter in your zip code right there, see the results, and then you can see a list of all the doctors that you might want to look for: family doctors, medical doctors, internal medicine. And what this will do, this will kind of bring it down into those specialties so that you can kind of start looking in certain zip code areas that maybe right around you in the 20, 30-mile radius where you live. And then on the Google Maps, it's going to plop it right on there for you, so you'll know exactly what doctors are, what's going on, and start targeting those areas.
Yeah, this looks like maybe just generic general practitioners. But look at this little number right here. You can barely see it, Eric. It's tiny here on the Google map, but it shows you how many results just here in, looks like this is our area, the Fort Worth, Dallas area.
Fort Worth area, correct.
Yeah, there's 9,331. So, folks, you'll find out that the market is huge. No matter where you're at, there are doctors and medical providers of all sorts, including all those specialties you just saw, that are potential clients for you.
Exactly. So, folks, you can use that tool even before you get here to training and kind of start doing a little bit of due diligence right through there. All right, let's keep moving on. Patrick, step 4. What about our website and our virtual brochure? I think some people maybe we have so much information they don't know what all to go through here.
Well, the funny thing is, Eric, there's a lot of information on the website itself. That's over here on the left side. But when they hit one of these orange buttons here on the screen, they'll have access to what we call our virtual brochure. And as you can see, we go through every one of these tabs you see up here at the top: welcome, opportunity, getting clients, training, support, technology, and so forth. These are all filled with many, many pages of information that we didn't want to, burden down our main site there with. But for those who are serious about looking at this business, there's invaluable information here.
Exactly, and you'll go through some of this information, and all it's going to do is help you develop questions. So whomever you're speaking with, one of us here at ABS, that gives you some information to kind of ask questions about. Well, hey, Eric, I went through the getting clients section, and it's talking about how is ABS different, or the training, or the support, or the technology. That gives you just more educated information for you to keep going through. Yeah, and not only that, Patrick. Oh, did you want to say something else?
I was just going to say, each one of these, we can't show them all here for lack of time, but each one has many, many pages of videos, testimonials, demonstrations of some of our systems, explanations of all the different auxiliary services that you can offer. It's just a plethora. Is that a good word? Plethora.
Yeah, that's a good word. and then you can still go to our website and go find over here where it says, I'm going to see if I can, there we go, get it clicked over here to, yep, there we go, underneath where it says news and then blog. And we didn't put everything up here, but underneath the blog area, there's current information there, plus you're going to see all of our past webinars that we've done. And Patrick, I mean, we do 52 webinars a year.
Every week. Yeah.
Every Wednesday, and we've been doing this for years. I mean, you can go back and watch some of the old stuff. You can even see the evolution of really how ABS is growing, and even with the support and all the other information.
We don't delete any of those webinars, Eric. I think they go back to 2011 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a ton of information, and part of that is. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say here, especially the testimonials, because folks. We can tell you anything. Anybody that you're talking to with any business opportunity or franchise will tell you whatever they want to tell you. That may or may not be true. But and I'm saying we're going to always tell you what the truth is. But you can always trust the people who've done their due diligence already, like you're doing. They've made the investment. They've come down here and spent a week in our training, and they've gone back and actually built their existing business. So you can't doubt that it's a real business if you have, dozens, literally dozens of people that we've interviewed over the years that will tell you exactly how they built their business.
Exactly. Each one of these people would be happy to talk with you, but I think even on here, we've got a couple of them here that you've actually done some interviews with. Patrick, you'd love to do the interviews with folks, and you've done here with Tim Warren just here recently, and I think Tim Warren's actually done some training for our licensee support side.
Yes, he's built his business to the point where he's got people working for him, and now he's actually one of our webinar instructors. So we have our own licensees who are actually out there building their business, do the training for us for ongoing training for licensees, because we want you to hear from people who are actually out there doing it, not just somebody who's read a book.
Yeah, these webinars and these testimonials, they're from coast to coast, men, women, all backgrounds, all sorts of lifestyles and everything else like that. So, folks, you certainly want to be able to check out the testimonials. Now, Patrick, we've got 10 steps to get through. We're on number 5. I think we've got about 20 minutes left at the most here.
Okay, well, we've already mentioned that you can watch video testimonials reference from some of our licensees. But, folks, if you go to the virtual brochure, there are actually pictures and descriptions of licensees who you can actually call along with their phone numbers. So they've given us permission to do that, and they've said, I'll be glad to take the phone calls from people who are interested in getting into the business. So ask those people. Some of them, like Renee here, he actually has his own commercial office space. If you arrange for him, I'm sure he wouldn't mind you actually visiting his office and see how he's built his business to that level. Many licensees are willing to do that, of course.
Oh man, yeah, because they remember being on that side of the webinar. They remember being there and the fear of trying to think, how am I going to get started in this business? Patrick, we just showed a couple of things here at the first part of the webinar, but folks, if you want to check out the industry, go sign up. Each one of these places here is where Patrick and I and the rest of our team, where we get our current events from. Medscape, Fierce Practice Management, Healthcare Finance News. You saw that we've got their about.com. There was information out there. Folks, you can just Google all sorts of information, but Patrick, those websites there will deliver updated information to their email on a weekly and sometimes a daily basis.
That's right. Good way to educate yourself about the industry in general. And if you want to check out Billing and Coding Advantage magazine, BC Advantage, it is a wonderful resource. It's aimed directly at billing and coding professionals, which you will be trained to be, of course, through ABS. And as Eric mentioned earlier, I usually write articles for that will educate you on the industry as well. So a good way to get third-party credibility from people outside of American business systems.
Exactly. And, one thing that you may not think of is what we're showing up here. You might want to find out if there is a business trade show in the medical world. It doesn't have to be medical billing. It could just be any type. Find out if there's a way that you can get inside there. And you talk about finding doctors, medical office people, sales reps. Boy, you talk about I'll use your word, plethora of folks there. Go check out some of these trade shows here.
Yeah, go to your Chamber of Commerce or your local newspaper and ask somebody in the business section, where are the trade shows that are being held here in my area that have to do with the medical field. And usually there'll be one or two a month at least in every area. Great place to make connections there. By the way, Eric, I just noticed that you used a picture of our display right there in the middle.
Point to it. Yeah, that's a group of our licensees that was actually doing one, and we were able to get a snapshot of those people there. And so, yeah, absolutely, that's ours that our licensees can actually use. You know, Patrick, one thing we didn't have up here, but something you and I haven't talked about in a long time, and those that are listening to the call, you're thinking, where can I go find doctors or clients and anything? A lot of your local areas have what's called a medical society. If you don't know about that, it'd be good for you to go check out. It may be your county. It may be like here in Fort Worth, our county is Tarrant County. There's what's called a Tarrant County Medical Society.
Right.
That is a great location to either go check out the industry, or once you become a licensee, a great place for you to go join.
Yeah, we had a licensee who went to their first meeting. They joined the society and went to the first meeting, met hundreds of doctors at this huge event, and actually made a connection there and got their first client from that first meeting. So, yes, it's a wonderful way to connect. Eric, what about the other medical billing companies maybe that are in a person's area? There are other people out there doing billing right now for doctors. You might want to check them out. That's your competition, right?
Yeah, and it may not even, just go Google them on the internet. If you're in Florida, why don't you find one that's in Arizona, or you may be in Minnesota. You might want to call a medical billing company in Texas.
Right.
Hey, you're just doing your due diligence. Just
sure.
talk to them and ask them what's going on in the industry.
Yeah. Ask them, if they can give you a feel for what they would charge to do the billing. How many clients they currently have, for example. That'll give you a feel and prove to you that it is a real industry. The great thing is that when you become an ABS licensee and go through our training, we're going to show you why you can outdo all the other medical billing companies in your area as a part of American business systems. Because, folks, we have technology, we have services that the typical billing company does not have. And you can be very competitive from that standpoint. And then, like Eric said earlier, plan a visit. If you want to do your due diligence, one way is just to come down here, meet. That's me and my wife, Linda, there on the right. Come to our conference room. Let us sit there with you. We'll make answer all your questions, show you around, introduce you to our staff, and show you that this is a real business. We can open the books to you, basically, and tell you everything you need to know to make you feel good about getting in partnership with American business systems.
Yeah. And then, Patrick, I think there's some, certainly any business person wants to get information, and we always think about building a plan for themselves, but we've got this what's called Medical Billing Business Special Report, something that you put together. It's generic type of information about the industry in and of itself and about American business system. So I think we can make offer this out to anybody that's actually on the webinar today.
Yes, this is actually about a 40-page document, folks, and you won't find this on our website or in our virtual brochure. This is something you have to request specifically from the person that you're working with. So ask your ABS business coach that you're talking with directly about this opportunity. Ask them to send you the Medical Billing Business Special Report, and they'll be sure to send that to you. It's just a PDF file that we can send to you, and you'll learn a lot about our company. You'll learn a lot about the industry itself, the competition, what the government rules and regulations are all about. Very informative booklet that we'll send to you. Hey, I see some questions coming in. Eric, we are about 9 minutes away from the top of the hour here, so maybe somewhere down the line we could start looking at some of those and replying to them. I'll go ahead through the slides here if you want to be reading some of those.
Sure.
This is another way that you could learn a little bit more about us. You can build a plan and prepare to know more about the industry by asking for a copy of Cash Crunch to Cash Flow. Now, you could go to Amazon.com and actually buy that book. It's a book that I wrote along with a CPA friend of mine, and it's used as a marketing tool for you as a licensee to go out and market this service to doctors. So it's a great giveaway. Now, you won't be paying the $14.95 or whatever it is on Amazon. Once you're an ABS licensee, you'll be buying it for, I don't know, $3 a copy or something like that, to be able to give away with your contact information inside there. I also have another book that Eric mentioned earlier, or referred to, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success. Either one of these books, we could help you get a copy of them. Just ask your ABS rep for those as well.
Yep.
Eric, I see a question on here or two. Let me read one.
Let's do that. You want to take this one from Alberto?
Yes, I certainly will. Let me read it first. Okay, Alberto says, is it possible to know through ABS what doctors in our area are already being serviced by an ABS licensee so we won't include them in our due diligence? Alberto, we would not share that, of course, with anybody that's outside of our network. Now, as an ABS representative, ABS licensee, once you're a licensee, we could share that kind of information with you. For somebody like yourself who is still just doing their due diligence, we wouldn't burden down our current licensees or their clients with people contacting them, outside of our network. So it's just not something we would generally, share with people outside of our ABS network.
Yeah, Alberto, I mean, if you want us to look up per zip code to see if there's any licensees that are in your particular area, we could certainly do that to see if there's anybody in your area. But remember, you could literally be next door to an ABS licensee, because that licensee may have a doctor in a completely different state.
Right.
I mean, you may be in Wyoming and next door neighbors with another licensee, but your next door neighbor, even though it's an ABS licensee, may have a client in California. You could be side by side with each other in Chicago, and may not deal with any doctors in Chicago. I mean, we've got that too as well. We've got licensees that are pretty much in their same zip code area, but they're just not servicing the same doctors. I mean, so there are no territories. There's nothing there that you have to really be too concerned about there. BJ, you asked a question here, which is a good question. Do you guys have your own billing software? What makes ABS billing better? We actually have an entire webinar on that. But if you want to know about the software, the best thing to do is do what we're showing you here on the screen right now, and that's to schedule a demo and see. BJ, if you know anything about medical billing, this is the best way to understand why we're different, what separates us from the competition. And from a sales standpoint or from a marketing standpoint, you truly want to know what differentiates you outside of all other billing systems out there. We can demonstrate that to you. So, BJ, that's probably the best answer I can give you, is set up and schedule a demo.
Yes, because what you're seeing here on the screen, for example, is just a representation of the fact that we could actually be showing a demo to you, and while you're seeing it, you'll actually be seeing what we will do for you once you become as a licensee. In other words, we actually do the demos for your prospective doctors so they can see the advantages of outsourcing their billing through you by seeing the advantages of our technology. So, Alberto, we did not, I'm sorry, this is BJ that asked this question. We did not develop this software, but it is private labeled, as you can see, so our licensees have a unique space in the marketplace out there to market. Nobody else has, I claim, our EMRX. It's a cloud-based system, so it's not something that you can tangibly feel and touch anyway. That's why we use technology partners to develop this for us. And let our licensees just log in from any computer anywhere in the world that has an internet connection.
Right, and that software there is, again, privately labeled for ABS licensees only. We do not market this directly to doctors. This is only gotten through our licensees. Our licensees are supported directly for that, and with that, you've got an entire support team that's all behind you as well. So we'll be happy to demonstrate that to you and let you show you exactly how all that works there, BJ.
Yep. Well, Eric,
Great.
thank you. I know we covered a lot of information in this hour, folks, and if you're still with us, let me just sum up by saying this. You don't want to go it alone on your own out there. Could you start your own medical billing company? Of course you could, but why do that when you would be reinventing the wheel, basically? We've spent way more than $25,000 developing the software, the technology, all the services, the marketing materials, our licensee support site. All of that, folks, is worth thousands more than what we're asking. But again, since we make money on the back end, on the services themselves, we've tried to keep that licensing fee down. So, Eric, I started offering 100% money back guarantee, and people thought I was crazy, including you. Because there is no other company that will let you come through their week-long training. I mean, the whole week, and at the end of the week, you know, for any reason, you don't think that this business is right for you, you can simply ask any staff member, and we'll arrange for you to have a full refund of your license fee. We don't want to keep one dime of your money if you don't think this is right. Now, Eric, we've only had that happen, I think, 3 times in the last 20 years, but the point is that we do stand behind that guarantee. The money is put into an attorney's trust fund until the following week anyway, so we don't even have access to people's funds until then. But that's our guarantee, folks, and it's about the only way that they can find out, you know, if this is for real, isn't it?